Okay, welcome to another video. So this video happened to be in my recommended list, and it was a bowling promotion tour match. I believe it is France, kind of like a France tournament from France, French tournament. So it's a French tournament or it's a French league, and so this was played on the 21st of September. So as of recording this, I'm recording this on the 5th November. So this is played a few months back, and it shows two female bowlers, Dara Payak. Okay, the announcer is going to pronounce her family name properly. I'm going to try and learn that. And Marine Lesourd, if I got it correct. So sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. Okay, so I'm gonna analyze their game between these two bowlers. So I'd like to say that I did have the honor of watching this beforehand. So I watched it a little bit beforehand, not the full match. And yeah, I noticed some interesting things and wanted to make a video about it. Okay, so let's take a look.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2020 edition of the Cubica AMF Bowling Promotion Cup. We're here at Red Bowl in the town of Angers Sud, France, which translates to Angers South, which is a beautiful
that's the
city
commentator
about 200
there.
miles southwest of Paris.
Bruce Hall, the commentator.
The international version of these Bowling Promotion Cup
I guess
matches.
this is a pre-recorded video, probably commented by the French commentators, and then Bruce Hall is like doing a voiceover in English.
Today's match is between local youth bowler 20-year-old Marine Lesourd and PWBA star 27-year-old Daria Payok.
All right, so we have the amateur bowler Marine. Marine. I don't know how to pronounce the French name. Marine Lesourd. I just call her Marine for now. So as an amateur bowler, let's take a look at her game. 2, 3, 4. Four-step delivery. Pretty interesting. So not many bowlers actually do a four-step delivery. Most of us in the modern competitive bowling scene will prefer a five-step delivery, mainly because the first step will be a timing step. It helps to give your body momentum, and the important steps actually come from the second step onwards, from the five-step delivery, five-step approach. But she's doing a four-step approach, if I'm not wrong. Let's count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so yep, four-step approach, and let's look at her ball placement timing. So on the second, so she walks first step right, first step in the right feet, and then she starts the ball moving on her first step. This is her second step, second of a fourth step. So in this case, the second of a fourth step, by the time she touches her feet here, okay, let's reverse it a little bit more. So we're going to look for the exact moment where she spreads her weight between her right feet and her left feet in her second step, second of the fourth step, which is the third of our five-step approach. 2. So it's around here. Okay, so let's maybe make a note. Okay, so her ball is here, and her weight is distributed between these 2 feet. This is a second, so this is a second of her 4 steps. And this is what we consider as delayed timing. So delayed timing on her ball on her second of the 4 steps, which is good. So I like this already. So delayed timing here. And she has delayed timing at the release as well. Pretty good. So how do we look at delayed timing on release? Okay, missed it a little bit. Okay, let's reverse it. So I'm gonna try and stop the video at the moment she stops. So at the moment she stops sliding, her ball is already here. That's interesting. let's see if I can do it in slow motion. Wait, let's try and doing this in slow motion and see whether we can see whether if it's actually traditional timing on release. One, two, three, and slide. Okay, so let's reverse a little bit. Slide, slide, and stop. Okay, see when she stops. Slides. Stops around here. Okay, kind of hard to catch. Around here? Yeah. So she stops a little bit before that. Let's do it again. Okay, so she stops a slide around here. Quite hard to catch. So it's not really traditional. It is still delayed timing. So she stops a slide here at this point, if I'm not wrong. And the ball is still about, so this is one ball length and this is one ball length. So about about 2 ball lengths to 1.5 ball lengths away from a sliding feet. So it is still considered delayed timing. So this is good. So this means that she had sufficient time to lift the ball. So she had delayed timing on the second of the 4 steps, and she has delayed timing on release. So that is a good thing. And then okay. So what I noticed was that she wasn't really lifting the ball. I think her technique of holding the ball during her stance needs to have some work done, because why she doesn't have that much rev rate. Okay, so first we can see her fingers. So this is the middle of the ball, right? Middle of the ball, right? Her fingers are on the top half of the ball. So it is still generally okay as long as you are staying in the middle equator line or below on the bottom. Let's reverse it. As long as staying in the middle equator line or you're on the bottom half of the ball, it is recommended, because to lift the ball, you have to have your fingers below the center line of the ball, below the equator of the ball. Equator meaning the center line of a spear, so below the equator of the ball. So her fingers are already at the equator, and I think on release, she migrates to above the equator, which is why she doesn't have a lot of lift on the ball. So, yep, seems like her fingers are going up. And at this point, let's see if we can take a look at on release. Yeah. So on release, it's a bit blur. So on release, I believe her fingers are above the equator line of the ball. Her fingers should be around here. So this is why she's not applying a lot of lift. And we can see that by looking at the ref rate of the bowler. So let's bring it back to normal speed so that we can take a look at her ref rate. Yeah, not a lot. Yep. So in real time, you can see the fingers are like on the top half of the ball during release. So her ref rate is decent, but I mean, it can be a lot more if she had her fingers in the bottom half of the ball. But where does this error come in? Most probably in how she holds the ball. So can't really, do we have a good angle here? Okay, she puts her fingers in. She puts her weight. Okay. So one thing notice here is that she's putting, you see this is the center of the ball, right? And then this is the center of gravity, right? So the center of gravity is here. We call it CG, center of gravity. So the center of gravity is outside of her palm. She's trying to put it on the index finger, but it's a bit too much on the outside. So what this does when you're holding the ball this way, if you're tilting the ball more towards your index finger side or even to the right of your index finger, is that you're going to promote a lot of turn on the ball. So you're not going to be lifting the ball a lot, because in order to lift the ball, it would be best if okay, do we have a palm? okay, maybe we can use Daria's palm here. So if you can see on the left side here, it's Daria's palm. So Daria is a right-hander. So in order to have the ball, to have more lift on the ball, right? Usually the bowler needs to put the weight around here. That means around the weight of the ball on the base of the ring finger. So this would be the maximum amount of lift, or common terms would call it forward roll. But if you are putting it, so in this case, for this particular bowler, Marine, what she's doing is she's putting most of the ball weight on around her index finger, or maybe beyond or around here. So what this happens is that naturally it will cause the bowler, as you're trying to lift the ball, right? As you're trying to straighten your swing completes, and you're lifting through the ball. You rather than lifting through the ball, the position of that weight will cause you to turn the ball. So you'll cause her to turn the ball this way rather than lifting the ball straight through the middle. So she's not lifting the ball, she's turning the ball. So this could be one of the possible reasons why she doesn't have as much lift. She can't stay behind the ball as much. But mainly, yeah, her fingers can't stay below the ball as much because of the way she places her weight during the stance. So for us coaches, normally when we try to correct errors, we always try to correct errors at the source of them. And most of the source of the errors happen during the stance and probably the first 1 or 2 steps. So this the beginning of the stance and the first 1 or 2 steps of our approach is always the most important. Okay, so her weight seems okay. So her weight seems to be balanced. The ball weight seems to be balanced here. So this is the CG of the ball. So it's more or less balanced, a bit too forward, like rather than on the palm, right? So what as a coach, what would I have liked to see instead is to have, let's say, if this is her right hand, is to have the ball weight, put the center of the ball weight, the CG position either here or maybe even further back here for a one-hander. Of course, for a two-hander is a bit different. For two-handers, we like to position our ball weight even further back, even around here. But for a one-hander, generally is recommended to position your ball weight around at the base of your fingers, like the base of your ring finger or the base of your middle finger. If you are trying to do a lot of turn, release a lot of turn and execute, then you position it around the base of your index finger. But anywhere more than that, that means anywhere the weight is positioned here, assuming this is her right hand, is not recommended. So she's positioning her weight around in front. So it's more in front. So this could also be another reason why she couldn't stay underneath the ball as much. So this is how she places the weight of the ball during her stance. Okay, other than that, if we look at her balance, her upper body weight transfer, let's look at the biomechanics of it. A little bit early, but it is still acceptable because for one-handers, it is recommended that you start moving your upper body forward only when your ball has reached around here. So that means from around here, and when your ball is moving back, then you start to tilt your upper body a little bit forward. So in this case, she's moving it a little bit before that. Let's see when she starts moving her upper body. Yeah. So she starts moving her upper body at the moment her ball starts to drop down from. So this is where her ball originally was. So once it started dropping, so she started moving her upper body. So this is more recommended for a two-hander. This kind of upper body weight transfer is more recommended for a two-hander instead of a one-hander. For a one-hander, we consider this early weight transfer. So it's gonna cause her to tilt her body a bit forward too early, which makes her put her weight more on the front sliding soles of her feet. But she manages to maintain her upper body, like the tilt. So if you realize, she actually tilted a bit more during the start of here, she tilted her upper body more. Like she was more forward here. So she was more forward here. And if we continue playing, she actually pulls her upper body back. Okay, so you can see her continue to move her upper body forward. So this is very natural because once you have something in motion, it will stay in motion until something else interferes with it. So there's one of Newton's three laws. I forgot whether is it the third law. Something in motion stays in motion. I forgot which second law or third law, but basically one of Newton's laws. Okay, so she's staying in motion, and let's see. Okay, so at this point, she stops her upper body movement. So her upper body actually moves back here. So at this point, her upper body, if we like to a line, okay, let's draw a line for where her center of her upper body is. Okay, so her center of her upper body is around here. Let's treat her body system as a stick figure. Okay, and okay, so she's maintaining this, so you can see that her body is still parallel to this line. Parallel, so she's maintaining her angle, but here her angle actually comes up. So if we trace her center of her body line now this is the center of her body, and let's do a different color. Okay, let's do a yellow. So the center of her body here, and we trace, and it's around here. So it is still quite parallel, but it's not as parallel as we would have thought. So she's actually pulling back her upper body, which means she's trying to so she's shifting her weight more towards her heel. Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, here. Okay, so she's shifting her weight a lot more towards the heel rather than having it distributed in the middle here. So this is gonna cause her to, it's not that bad, but it's gonna cause her to stop her slide early. But that means she's gonna lose leverage, in other words. Because ideally, right, you want your upper body to be positioned right above the middle of your sliding feet. So your upper body angle, in the ideal bowling system, the upper body should be, maybe this is a little bit too much angle. It's about this angle. So the center of body should be here, and the center of body should be directly above your sliding feet, so that your sliding feet supports the weight of your upper body, supports the center of gravity of your upper body. So that's where you get the maximum amount. You feel the most stable, and your body can impart the most lift on the bowling ball. So in this case, what's happening here is that because of her early weight transfer, because it's early, in order for her not to fall over, the body instinctively tries to pull itself back closer towards release. So now her center of the body is here, and the center, her CG is here, center of gravity is here. So she rather than being in the front, is more towards behind, and because of that, she is missing the lowest point of a downswing. So this is now her lowest point of a downswing. So the lowest point of a downswing is measured relative to your center of gravity. So since it's already at the lowest point of a downswing, she's gonna release late, and she's gonna lift the ball late. So she's gonna lose leverage due to a late release. And so these are all the things that is causing her to lose leverage. So she's losing leverage by a lot of combination of factors: how she holds the ball, where she puts the weight of the ball in the stance. That is the major factor. Her early body weight transfer, which causes her to pull her weight back during the release, during the slide, and because of that, she loses leverage on the ball. So there's a lot of things that's causing her to lose leverage and power on her shot. But other than that, if we take a look at her finishing position, yeah, her finishing position here, she's a decently good bowler. So her balance arm is out, but it's too high. That means her balance arm is going upwards instead of being level here. So the ideal one, if I put in blue, should be the balance arm should be at least either level, that means level with the ground, directly parallel to the ground, or it can be lower. But because if it's too high, it causes her shoulder, so the arrows are pointed out in red, it causes her this shoulder here to drop lower than required. Because her balance arm is too high, it drops lower, and when it drops lower, you lose further leverage on the ball. Because imagine yourself like trying to lift a heavy weight, and while you're lifting the heavy weight, you force your right shoulder. That means you're trying to lift a heavy weight with your right arm, right? And at the moment you're trying to lift the weight, you force your right shoulder to drop down. So are you going to drop the weight? Definitely you're going to drop the weight because your right shoulder is not stable. In order to lift a heavy weight with your right arm, your right shoulder has to be in a stable position and not drooping or dropping down during the release. So because of a high balance arm here, it causes the right shoulder to drop, so she further loses leverage. Other than that, things which she's doing good is her trailing leg. Her trailing leg is good. So this is so from the back, you will see that her trailing leg is well to the left, 45 degrees behind her body. So trailing position is really good. Her knee bend, which is here, this is her knee bend. It's very good knee bend as well. It's not too low, enough knee bend. That means it doesn't have to be too low, but it's not high as well. And other than that, her timing is good. Even though she has a 4-step approach, her timing for a 4-step is good. She has delayed timing on her second of her 4 steps. She has a delayed timing on release. So generally, Marine, pretty good bowler. Okay, so I'm probably gonna look at Darapayak on our next video. So this is just one of part one of our 2-part video where we look at Marine Lesourd, the amateur, against Darapayak. Okay.